Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste. Nice. I'm Michael.
And I'm Dilz. If you're new here, we welcome you to the show where we encourage... Do we encourage Xpwaste?
We do.
Okay, great. We don't discourage it.
No, never.
Okay, perfect. We encourage Xpwaste here. But if you're returning, then you already know that. So thanks for coming back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Michael, how did I do?
You did great.
I did great.
You did great. Thank you so much. That's a little daunting. I'm not going to lie, and you knocked it out of the park.
It's the script I wrote beforehand.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you are new around here, you've never heard this voice on the pod, this is not your normal co-host situation. We have a guest host today, Dilz. He's the wonderful host. I was trying to think of an adjective. The amazing, wonderful, beautiful host of the Wilderness podcast.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Another old school RuneScape podcast. Normally we have my normal co-host put his name on the show, Oxie, but he's out gallivanting around Europe. So he won't be back, I think, for another week or two. So I have to find more co-hosts.
Well, it's RuneScape. But, you got plenty to choose from.
Oh, so many. I think I have an idea of who will be on next week, but I don't want to spoil it.
Oh my god, is it Zezma? You got Zezma, didn't you?
Dude, can you imagine?
Cool. I mean, you could kind of pick anyone. I don't know how commonly well known his voice is. I think you could just choose someone and be like, it's Zezma.
Like, you're Zezma today.
Yeah. And maybe
just tell him
their last name's Zezma, but they don't play RuneScape or anything.
Oh no, can you imagine if I just absolutely clickbaited people with, I got Zezma on the show and I just found somebody on LinkedIn with the last name Zezma, or on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, some people might be a little disappointed.
Oh man. Pork Jerry in the recording booth chat says, I'm trying to manifest Ash to host. Oh. Can you imagine? Mod God Ash.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I would just I probably wouldn't know what to say. That's I don't know if there's any JMods listening and you have a connection to yourself or God Ash and you want to be on the show, just let us know. We'd love to have a JMod on to interview or to host or whatever. You guys you can have the show. I don't know.
Honestly, I feel like you could just ask Mod Ash, and if he had a couple hours available, I feel like he would. He seems very, I don't know if you've noticed, but he responds to everyone on Twitter. You can ask him a question and he'll answer it.
He really does.
Sometimes he shouldn't, but he always does.
It would be interesting with time zones. Either Oxie and I would have to get up really early, or he would have to stay up pretty late. And I think, if Mod Ash wanted to be on the show, and he's like, yeah, I'm available at 6 p.m. on Friday night, I'd be like, okay, I'm getting up. It's gonna be, what is that? 6 p.m. Actually, no, that would be noon for me. So it really wouldn't actually be that bad. I probably would have to call out of work, but
they'd understand. Yeah, they'd understand.
They would understand. They would understand. So, Dilz, you are not the normal host. You've already kind of set that up. But what do you do?
What I do for RuneScape or
let's plug the Wilderness podcast and go.
We're 5 minutes in too.
Yeah, bro.
Well, if you ever needed another podcast to listen to, let's say you were craving a second show, I do another RuneScape podcast, so it's out there called the Wilderness Podcast.
How many episodes are you guys on now?
We just recorded 216, so we got a
16.
Yeah, we started in 2016, and
okay,
yeah, it's been going. It's been fun. It's been a journey. It's a good time.
I have, and this is nothing against Heartless. I've actually enjoyed having your brother on. I've enjoyed listening to your brother being on the show. I feel like it brings an era of nostalgia because I know that you and your brother started the podcast, but for whatever reason, life, things like that, he had to bow out. And it's been really fun to hear your guys' dynamic. I admittedly I didn't listen back then, so I could probably go back and listen to older episodes, but yeah, it's been really good. It's been really good.
I always say as a disclaimer, the older ones are rough, so sometimes I go back to listen because I was level 90 when we first started, and we were talking about the Inferno. I could barely get my fire cape, and I'm trying to talk in detail about what the Inferno is all about. Anyways, there's a few times I'm going back to listen. Oh, I wonder what whatever. And I really tempted to delete episodes because they're just awful. But anyways.
I mean, it really wouldn't make sense at that point that you guys are on 216 if there's only like 50 episodes that people can find. But I'm always interested with like how people choose to number the show, like seasons. I never got it when it came to podcasts. Like you're on season 2, episode 5. Like how does that? I'll ask you this because your real job is in podcasting, or it was.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it all started from this little Runescape podcast. But then eventually I liked podcasting so much, I was like, I'm going to try to find a career in this. And I mean, I think
that's awesome, actually.
It was able to work out, so it's fun.
But do you have any insight as far as like why people do seasons for podcasts?
I think it's just like an excuse to like take a break.
Oh,
I don't really know why they say like I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back for season 2, but it's not like season 2 starts off at episode 1 again. It starts off at episode wherever they left off, so it gets confusing. I think it's just an excuse to be like, well, we do it in seasons, so we're gonna take a break because we need to do a bunch of production work. Even though it's probably a whole lot of production work going on.
I think that sometimes people, like certain podcasts, will like pre-record every single episode, and then they just release them over the weeks, kind of like how they, do movies and TV shows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why they do seasons.
Yeah, I mean,
they need like the production and the post-production and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a way to like take a break and you're not having to do it all the time. Because I don't know if you feel this way. I don't know how meta we want to get talking about podcasting, but like,
oh yeah, let's do it.
Like, I don't know. Do you ever find it hard doing weekly shows all the time? Like, do you ever feel like,
yes.
Yeah, because you're like almost committed to this weekly schedule, which is fun. But every now and then, it's like things get busy, and you might feel guilty for taking a break, or
all the time.
Yeah, it's
a fun thing. So if you're part of the Patreon, we have a recording booth, and everybody in the Wise Old Man tier and the KBD tier can just join in and listen. So we actually have Oxie in the recording booth right now. I said he was gallivanting around Europe. He's probably at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, just chilling in his hotel.
Yeah, he's at a public library somewhere playing RuneScape, I bet.
But Oxie said yes to that answer. It is tough doing a weekly podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that here on this show, at least, we've kind of gotten into a rhythm where about every 8 to 10 weeks, we'll take a break for a week.
Yeah.
And we use that time to just decompress and not have to do a recording schedule and editing and all the social media and all that kind of stuff. But we'll also take some time and plan out for like the next 8 to 10 weeks of content.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Because at least on this show, we don't really follow the updates like you guys do. Like there will be certain times where we do talk about the updates. Like I'm sure when Raids comes out in August, we'll have a couple episodes dedicated to like specifically Raids 3. But we really try and, at least in Xpwaste, we try and kind of tailor the episodes to a certain topic. So we've got the next couple weeks planned out once Oxie gets back. And we'll probably take another break sometime in probably in September. Because we took a break 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
But yeah, it is tough. It's definitely tough. And I guess I can see that why people would have seasons. If not to just not have like 200, 300 episodes. That's kind of why I asked, is because if you guys didn't go, episode 1 to episode 200, you would essentially be like season 1, episode, 100. And then season 2 would start and you'd be season 2, episode 1. Yeah. And then instead of 200 episodes, you guys would be on 1. It's kind of a train of thought that kind of derailed.
I think it's safe to say, like, people in podcasting, they have no idea what they're doing. Everyone's just doing something different, and if it works, it works.
If it works, it works.
Usually you don't even know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what are you up to in the game these days? This is kind of like that section of the podcast where we talk about what we're doing. Actually, I'll just say this: we're both me and Dilz right now are both doing monkey agility laps. That's fun.
Yeah,
we're together in the game, and we're together in this recording.
I really dislike agility, and I use like the podcast as an excuse to train agility.
Hey, so you don't do any agility outside of recording?
Not really, not anymore, because it's just it's really boring. I might do a little bit of a Hallowed Sepulchre. But I'm like one or two levels away from getting that final floor. So there's like a bunch of different, there's a bunch of different floors, and each one gets harder and harder. I don't know if should we go into what Hallowed Sepulchre is?
We can, yeah. I don't know if you saw the recording booth, but Oxie sent you a message.
He says, "Ask Michael about his sepulchre." I can't even say it. Ask you about the run. So I gotta. How is the Hallowed Sepulchre going for you?
So I'm 90 agility right now.
Nice.
I was doing it at 89, and floor 3 is quite the bitch. That as they say, it's the floor 3 brick wall, the brick wall on floor 3. Anyway, I'm still learning pathing. I'm still learning the mechanics. I haven't quite hit the time to like finish floor 4. I can't get to floor 5 yet, but I haven't made floor 4 in time. Man, that's a tongue twister.
You did very well.
I have not hit the time on floor 4. So floor 3 is fine, floor 2 is good, but yeah, it's difficult, man. It's fun content though.
It is. It's like they made a really boring skill, and they're like, how can we make it hard and rewarding and also fun once you learn it. It kind of sucks to learn. I think
it really does.
One problem I've had with this game is anytime whatever content you're doing, if it relies on pathing, it's like really kind of janky, and I think it's just because the way the game engine is, where your character's not actually like what you see is not where your character is, right?
True tile.
Yeah, if you have the True Tile plugin, it tells you, well, this is actually where it is. That's why, like, sometimes if there's like something that's gonna hit you, but you dodged it, and you're like, I have no idea how I dodged it. It looked like it should have hit me.
Exactly.
It's because you're not actually where you are, which takes time to get used to, and then
it really does.
When you're doing Hallowed Sepulchre and you're dodging all these darts and these swords and these like fire, like you're dodging all this stuff, it can be frustrating because it doesn't feel intuitive, because you're like, well, my guy looked like he missed all this stuff and he's getting hit for some reason.
Yeah. I turned on True Tile for a lot of the runs that I was doing, and it was interesting because I would see my little square like diagonal to me, and my character definitely got hit by a crossbow bolt. But since my little square was in the safe zone, I was able to, cross that obstacle, and I'm like, man, True Tile is an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really where you are. It's kind of the way to think about it.
It is weird. And I remember way back, one of the Rune Fests from like maybe 2017 or something, RuneScape 3 pitched, they came onto the floor. So at RuneFest, they always like, here's the big updates for the next year. And the RuneScape 3 devs came out and they said they're overhauling the entire game engine so that it's smoother, and you won't need to have like a True Tile plugin because your character will be exactly where he's supposed to be.
Interesting.
Now that was like 5 years ago, and they haven't done it yet. I think they're still working on it, but it's an interesting move.
Oh man, they haven't done it yet.
No, I don't think so.
It's winter 2017 all over again.
Yeah, they're very ambitious on RuneScape 3. On
RuneScape 3 and on Old School.
Yeah.
So you're doing agility laps, but you don't like agility. So what do you like? What's your main goals right now?
That's a good question. I'm kind of all over the place. My account's like, it's at that point where it's close to max, but also very, very far from maxing. Like when you have like 50 levels left to maxing, but each level takes hours and hours and hours to grind. Yeah. It takes a long time. Plus, some of them are really boring. So,
yeah. What have you saved for last?
Oh, see, that's
I could look
the
you up
question.
Right now and see.
So, anything that's not fun, I've decided I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Like mining, I'm at 97. I'm getting kind of close to 99. Like I could push through to do 99, but
oh yeah, dude, you're like 1.4 million XP. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Do you do Amethyst?
I was, and it's kind of AFK, and the money's okay, but I just don't enjoy it at all. So what I decided is I'll do some collection log hunting, so like Volcano, Guardians of the Rift, and volcanic mine are the 3 activities that would give me mining experience, even though
Yes.
Volcano and Guardians of the Rift, it's like, it's very, very
Doo-doo.
low. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
not much at all. But eventually I'll get there. I remember, was it Lynx Titan? Maybe
Lynx Titan, the number 1 person?
I think it was Lynx Titan. Yeah. So yeah, Lynx Titan is number 1 because he was the first player to achieve 200 mil in every skill, which is
crazy.
It is crazy because I've got a total of 300 mil from all my skills. I can't imagine like doing 200 mil. That's a whole nother
4.6 billion XP if anyone's counting.
Yeah, that's a lot. But I think it was him where he said he's saving. He had some skills that he was like, I'm saving this for last because they're the worst to train. And if Jagex is going to bring out any new skilling content, there's a good chance it'll be mining, or there's a good chance it'll be like agility. So it's like, I'm not gonna push for 99 agility. I'm not gonna push for 99 mining. I'm not gonna push for 99 thieving. That's another one I really hate. Because at some point, Jagex will make it fun. Like they have to.
Yeah.
I think they will. And if I'll get it 99 when that happens. So I'm not in a huge rush, but
yeah. I just looked you up. You're 2215 total. I've already got 99 rune crafting, which is, I think, honestly, like 99 rune crafting, 99 mining. If you got agility pretty up there, like you're well on your way to maxing.
Yeah. It's
have you looked up your wiseoldman.net, like how many hours to max you have for your account?
No, I haven't.
If you want to be encouraged or discouraged, definitely go and look at the wiseoldman.net. I think I have 164 efficient hours until I max. So it's essentially all going to be Slayer and agility. I'm 96 Slayer and I'm 90 agility. And so those are essentially my slowest skills left because other than that, I literally have Hunter and Thieving and I'm done.
Interesting.
We're good. Yeah.
Are you not really a fan of Slayer?
That's been the running thing on this podcast is like Michael's dislike or Michael's what is it? Aversion to PVM. It's kind of, I don't know. PVM to me is boring. It's not why I play this game. Yeah,
that's a hot take. I can get in with that.
If I could have been a skiller account from the get go, I would have done that.
Fair enough.
I do like PVM, but I don't go out of my way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Bossing, raids, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm happy just cooking fish to 200 mil cooking, which I will do. But
which sounds insane, by the way, but I understand.
I'll get there. Like 96 Slayer, I've got like 600k till 97. It's another, what is that? 3 million XP till 99, which honestly, I'm not 164 hours. That's efficient hours, and I'm definitely not doing anything efficiently because I'm doing Apatol agility right now. If that tells you anything.
Got a collection log hunt, right? Gotta get those backpacks.
For sure. It'll probably be another like 300 or 400 hours until I max of just straight playing. I would expect.
Now, is that when you hear 300 hours to max? Are you like, wow, that's not much at all, or are you like, that is a lot of hours?
It's not that many. It's not that many. Like, I think at this point in my RuneScape career that I could probably max by the end of the year. I think it's always been I've said it a lot on the show, like, oh, I'm not going to max this year, but I found myself having a lot more free time now that my son has gotten older. You know, he's going to bed at a consistent time every night. There's just a lot more like life balance, I think, that I've found.
Yeah.
And so I think that I could definitely max by the end of the year. If I can knock out agility in a reasonable time, I could, like, once I get 99 agility, I could reasonably max in probably like a month, I think. Once I get 99 agility, it's literally downhill the whole time. It's coasting. Because at that point, it's just AFK Slayer, and I've got Hunter and Thieving. So, yeah, I think I'll do it. 300 to 400 hours doesn't feel that bad. I don't know if you know this, but I did rune crafting from 89 to 99 without stopping. Nice. And then I, back to back, right when I finished rune crafting, I did 89 to 99 mining without stopping. Woo! That took me, it took me from September to December of last year to do that.
Oh,
So I got 99 mining on New Year's Day.
Wow, that's not long at all.
Yeah, it felt like a long time, but a lot of that time I was I was on paternity leave, and so
nice.
I wasn't working. Yeah, Oxie in the recording booth chat when he says locked, he means locked. So I told everybody, like, guys, I'm Arceus mine locked. I'm rune crafting locked until I get it done, and I just wouldn't do any other content. I did 2 chambers of Xerix because that was like, it was on the continent of Zaya, so I was like, I can do that. It's no big deal.
Fair enough.
So you got some fast skills left, which is great. I always applaud people who save the fast ones.
Yeah, I'm just like, I think
construction.
I don't know if you feel this way, but it's once I hit 99, it's like if I continue, like I'm doing Guardians of the Rift and I have 99 rune crafting right now. Oh. Part of me wishes I like didn't have 99 rune crafting because it would have been fun to look forward to that next level. So yeah, I'm not in a huge rush to max out the account. It'll happen if it happens, when it happens. I assume I'm going to be a RuneScape lifer, so you know.
I feel like you're more than halfway there at this point.
I would
you're
hope
like
so.
you're very, very close. Like you've got nearly all of the hard ones done. Nearly. You've got like agility left, pretty much. So you're not really pushing for max. Is that what I hear?
Yeah, I one of the nice things, it's kind of liberating once you get to like a higher level when you're, and I'm sure maxing feels this way. Like I think a lot of people get to max and then they get the whole, all right, now what? Like what do I do now?
Yeah.
But it's probably liberating knowing that you can like do whatever you want. You don't feel like, oh, I need to do some sort of content that's related to mining because it's my last 99 to get. So I've kind of like tried to take that mindset, and whatever I feel like doing, I'll do it. So it could be like killing a bunch of Zalra just because maybe I want to go towards the pet. Or fishing Inferno eels for like 3 weeks because maybe I'll get the pet if I do that.
Ooh.
I didn't, but anyways, it's very stress free when you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to try to max. I'll max eventually, but we'll just let it happen on its own.
So I guess that begs a question. I like to ask this to everyone who is like semi close, or at least 2,200 total. So say you maxed tomorrow. What are your goals after you've maxed? Like, do you have goals set up in place?
Good question. I like collection log hunting, so I have like certain pets that I'm kind of working towards. I want to get all the wildy pets at one point. So I have Venenatus and Scorpia already. So it'd be cool to kind of get Callisto and Vedion, I guess. I don't really like Vedion as a pet.
Screw Vedion, dude.
People really like Vedion, but I think it's a kind of a silly looking pet.
Yeah.
But that's whatever. Yeah, so collection log hunting is good. I really like playing. I have like a bad habit of like making too many accounts. So I have like 12 accounts. I got like so many accounts. I just keep making them because I get this cool idea and then I get bored. But and then every now and then I check, like I see that I'm getting charged like 4 or 5 times a month from Jagex for like membership, and I'm like,
oh no,
what's going on here? And then I have to go through and which one did I forget to unsub? But I like making accounts like Pures for PvPing, or like made like a UIM skiller, which was a lot of fun.
Ooh, interesting.
So sometimes I like to just, if I need a break from the main, I'll make a new account, and then you get so many new goals. You get to like, you know, my UIM, it's like, oh, I need to get the seed box. That's like a very direct goal you can grind towards. Or like on my Pure, I need to get like mithril gloves. So it's like finding out how can I get those mithril gloves without getting my defense up. Those things are kind of fun too.
I've got 2 main accounts. So I've got not 2 main accounts, but I have 2 primary accounts. I've got my main account and then my group Ironman.
Oh, nice.
I've been having a lot of fun on the group Ironman lately.
Oh, cool.
You ever see the meme of the guy who's got like, he's got the wall of stuff and he's just like looking at it and he's like this, he's like, and it's, you know, like the threads are connecting to different places.
Yeah, the Always Sunny.
Yeah, that guy. That's how I feel right now with my goals on my group Ironman. I'm just like, the overarching goal right now is to get Barrow's gloves. But in order to get Barrow's gloves, I need to do a series of quests for, you know, Recipe for Disaster. But in order to get those quests done, I need to train the skills. And in order to train the skills, I need to do other. So it's just like a cascading list of goals that all ends up with one pair of gloves. It kind of feels like it's not worth it. but then again, it does feel like it's worth it, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's like the beauty of RuneScape where you're like, are Barrow's gloves worth it? Like you decide. It's up to you to decide if it's worth it or not. And I mean, Barrow's gloves are pretty good, but
yeah.
it's up to you to decide. Like, is that a worthy goal to go towards? And then having to get this like one small favor route of figuring out how to get to those Barrow's gloves. Kind of fun.
It's insane, dude. It's insane. Like I've worked it out. So I just did Edgar's Ruse last night, which gives you 11k Herblore XP.
Nice.
I'm doing My Arms Big Adventure next. But in order to do My Arms Big Adventure, you have to have Taibawanai cleanup done.
Right.
So now I'm getting 100% favor because I want to get the diary done and hope for a gout tuber before I move on to My Arms Big Adventure. And the reason I'm doing My Arms Big Adventure is because it gives you 10k Herb XP. So I worked it out. If I have 21k Herb XP, it's going to get me 41 Herblore, and I can boost for Legends Quest.
There it is.
So like that's just a small snippet of like what's going on in my head and like what I'm doing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually insane. It's actually insane. It's like I haven't done these quests in years, so I don't really remember all that goes into it, but it's been fun reliving kind of those crazy goals moments. Because like right now on my main account, it's literally just train agility, log in, train agility. I know what I have to do. I don't have these crazy cascading lists of goals. So it's fun.
That's the hard part. A lot of it, like at least for me, maybe you're the same way, but a lot of things get locked behind money, so it's not like, I remember being a kid and killing hill giants to get 70 attack because you unlock the mighty abyssal whip. And that was really exciting to finally be able to use one because it looked awesome. And after, when you did use it, you're like, this feels awesome to use.
Yeah.
But then now, a scythe requires 80 attack, but it costs like, what is it, 600 mil? I don't know what it's at right now, but like it's like 500, 600 mil. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's so you're gonna get 80 attack. You're probably gonna get 80 attack before you get the money for that. So a lot of things just get locked behind this like wall of money. So like you're like, oh, I have the stats for the T-bow. I just need the money for it now. So it's like, so I guess the grinds for the main account become like, I'll do this, but then I make a little bit of money on the side, which is to fund this next T-bow I want to buy.
Right.
But just like circling back to your iron, you have to do all these other things to get to it, and be a lot of fun. A quick aside, don't mean to go on a tangent, but
we love tangents.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. When Swampletics first started, which is like this YouTube channel, I'm sure most people know about the Swampletics YouTube series, but essentially it was like the Snowflake account, which is when you make this account that's like has all these unique restrictions that you place it yourself. So it could be like I'm locked to Mauritania, or I'm locked to Zaya, or I am, there's somebody who doesn't use currencies. It's called no currencies account. So no Tokel, no GP, nothing that acts as like a currency. They don't use any of that stuff. But
that's insane.
I think like Swampletics like started this whole what's the word, like phase of a lot of people, movement of wanting to try these Snowflake accounts and area restricted. So there's a bunch of these communities that popped up, and eventually I was like kind of bored one day, and a lot of the maybe tell me if you're the same way, but a lot of motivators for me in this game is to like show off. So like I want to show off my cool gear. I want to get max. I don't really care about getting 99 skills, but I kind of want to show off my max cape or something. Yeah, I think a lot of things are like that. Which is why you have like a lot of third age items that are so expensive, just to be like, look how much money I have.
The prestige of it all.
Yeah, and eventually I was bored of my main, but I wanted to keep playing RuneScape. I didn't really have any accounts I wanted to play, so I made this UIM skiller account. But the Snowflake part of it was like, I'm only going to train defense. No other combats, no HP, nothing. I'm just going to train defense.
Wait. No HP?
Yeah, so
10 HP?
Keep it at 10 HP and only train defense.
Interesting.
And because I thought it would be so cool to be like level 30 and you're wearing like full barrows, which I don't know. How would you get that? I don't know. But I thought that would have been cool to like walk around and people be like,
very true.
How'd this guy get a DFS? It would never happen, but this is what I think about at night. So I made the account, and I was like, I understand why people play Snowflake accounts, because this Snowflake account is like it's kind of like what you're doing, where you're zigzagging all over the place to get to your goal. But then when you put all these restrictions on it, you're like, you zig and you zag, and then you hit a wall because you're like, shit, I can't do that because this is in the way. Well, how can I get around it?
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of fun of like, I had to figure out, how do I kill things on this Snowflake account? Well, I could use recoils. What drops recoils? Nothing in the game drops recoils. So what if I train my mage to level 6, and then I can boost to like level 8? I think these are the levels. But
yeah,
I can boost to level 8, and then I could enchant sapphire rings to turn them into recoils. But then if I keep doing that too much, my magic level is going to get too high, and then it's not going to be that cool of a Snowflake account.
Yeah.
But hey, I figured out if I go to the Fountain of Rune, you can cast any spells there without getting any experience, and there's no runes tied to it.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's like, well, how do I get sapphire rings? Well, one of the ways is through bird's nests. So if I get my, what I mean? You start getting all this like, okay, well, now I need to do some birdhouse runs, which means I need to do Bon Voyage, which means I need to get like 30 herblore. And then you're like, yeah, you're kind of bouncing around. My point is the Snowflake accounts is like, it's very similar, but it's a lot of fun because it becomes like a puzzle game. Because you're having to figure out, how do I get to this goal? And sometimes you can't. But
truly, like the fact that you're an Ironman, I think, is really the key to why it's definitely a puzzle. Like if you just had a level 3 skiller that only trained defense, the Grand Exchange is there for you to buy Rings of Recoil.
Yeah,
easy.
exactly.
And there's not much of a puzzle there. That like, unless you want to be self-sufficient, the only real puzzle is how are you going to make the money to get it. But that's easy. You could literally sit there and flip from 1 GP on the Grand Exchange. It would take you a while, but 0 combat needed to amass a fortune, essentially. So being an Ironman really is like why that is so intense, I think.
Yeah.
And you're really like taking your goals, you're taking your end goal, and then you're just deconstructing it to figure out what your starting point is.
Yeah, you kind of have to work backwards, and sometimes you hit these walls. But once I played it, and I kind of understood why. There's a lot of people who play these weird restriction accounts, and they don't stream, they don't make YouTube videos, they just do it for fun.
Yeah,
but I understand why they do it, because it's like it becomes like a puzzle game, and that's what's so great about RuneScape. Like you can play it like 12 different times, and each time you play it, it's going to be a little bit different if you tailor it that way.
That's the blessing and a curse of RuneScape. I think I kind of realized that when I did the episode with my wife last week, is like, she made a great point. It's just very difficult from an outside perspective. RuneScape is very difficult to figure out what to do from the start.
Yeah.
As a game, most games have, in the first hour or whatever, they have a tutorial that you play through, and they set goals up for you, and that kind of sets you on the path of playing the game. RuneScape, you're just dropped into Lumbridge with an inventory full of things, and you're said, hey, this is your adventure now. This is your sandbox. They've done a lot of good things, I think, with like adventure paths.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever started a brand new account and turned on the adventure path, but it's actually quite interesting. But not a lot of people know. Like, you just don't, it's not intuitive. And I think that's the problem. It's not intuitive for new players to be like, this is the adventure path. This is what you should be doing in the game. Here's a list of 10 goals and how to complete them. You rely really a lot on your friends, or you rely on the wiki, you rely on outside sources, and it can just be daunting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's almost like the shift in like almost like how games, or like gaming culture, or how people are introduced to games. Like, you're so used to being like told, do these, or you're like given very specific paths. Whereas like RuneScape, you're dropped in Lumbridge. And Lumbridge isn't even a starting area. It's just that's the weird part about RuneScape. There's not really starting areas, because you start in Lumbridge, but I don't know. I go there all the time, and I'm sure you go to Lumbridge all the time, right? Like
yeah.
Which is different from a game like World of Warcraft. I don't know how it is now, but when I played it, you start in the zone, and eventually you outlevel the zone, and you're never going back. You're gone.
Oh, interesting.
You move on to the next zone, and then that area is like from level 13 to 24, and then you get to 25, and you're like, well, I'm off to the next zone now, and you kind of graduate, and you never go back.
Right.
Which is where RuneScape, you're just like in this world, and yeah, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna chop this tree, and okay, this tree in this starting zone requires 60 attack or 60 wood cutting to cut down, and
Yep.
and then you get killed from a mugger because where the hell did this guy come from? Anyways,
You try to attack a goblin and it's too strong for you, so you're just dead. And you don't know.
Well, you just
you don't know.
Casually walk to the big city, and then next thing you know, there's dark wizards attacking you, and you're like, who the hell put these there? It's on the main road to the biggest city in this game.
Why is their attack range so high?
Yeah, and they can hit 8, which is like a lot.
My gosh, dude, 2 hit you. Bam. Yeah. That's an interesting thing. It's like, if I was playing this game now, having zero knowledge, it's like 2022. I just started RuneScape. I don't know that I would continue to play past like an hour. If I'm being completely honest. There's a lot of factors that go into that decision. And the main one being like, I'd have to be completely alone, found the game on my own, no knowledge previously. And like, I don't have friends that play. I'm not watching anybody stream it. Can't ask anybody questions. So there's a lot of different things that go into what makes you continue to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's a delicate balance. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And I think like Tutorial Island is iconic, but I could also see it. I'm trying to think, like, if I were to play RuneScape for the first time, let's say I'm on mobile and I find the game and I'm playing it, would I stick to it? And that's hard because it's very slow paced. Like, it takes forever to like do 1 damage to a cow when you're level 3. You sit there smacking that cow for like 5 minutes, and you'll maybe do like you'll probably kill it by then, but still, it takes forever to do your hit. So like, it's not, you're sitting there and you're like, wow, this is a very slow paced game.
Yeah, I mean, I've interacted with a lot of free to play people in the last couple weeks, and the main thing that I think is the most detrimental to new players in the game is like all of the restrictions that they have to have because of bots. Like, if you make a brand new account and you're not a member, you have to wait like 10 hours of gameplay before you can trade with anybody or use the Grand Exchange effectively. So that's 10 hours in a game. There's some games that you can finish in 10 hours.
Yeah.
So
good ones. Yeah.
It's like, why would I want to spend 10 hours killing cows logged in just so I can trade people? That's like an integral part of this game if you're not an Ironman. It relies heavily on like being a member to unlock the certain things that make the game playable. So, and I don't know that I would necessarily like want to invest $12 into a game, within the first hour to figure out if I want to play. Yeah,
I mean, you probably shouldn't, especially when it's a subscription, because you do quit, you're going to forget, and then you're going to look at your bank and you're going to see, why is Jagex charging me 5 times each month? And you realize you have 5 accounts subbed. But my point is, like, we lose track of subscriptions all the time.
Yeah.
So
I do want to preface all this saying, like, this is not me or Dilz, like, downing RuneScape. Like, we're definitely just, putting our thoughts into words here with, like, how the game, early game at least, is set up. Well, all that being said, if you're brand new to RuneScape and you just found this podcast for some reason, join the Discord, find friends, join a Discord. You don't have to join mine or the Wilderness, like whatever. Join a Discord of people, find a clan, make friends in the game, talk to people. RuneScape thrives off community, and whether or not you want to be part of our community, find one, because that's the biggest thing is people. People make this game great. Even if you're an Ironman, still having people around you that are playing is what makes this game great.
Yeah, it's a funny game like that where it's all about like a lot of things you do on your own. There's a lot of group content, but there's a lot more solo content. But yeah, this game is so much more fun when you just have people GZing you in the chat because you got some new collection log item or whatever it is. And I always like, I'm in a bunch of like Facebook groups and like different little communities for RuneScape because I just love talking about RuneScape so much. But
yeah,
have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Cool. How long have you been playing it?
So back in like 2016, 2017, I got introduced to it by my brother.
Cool.
And then in 2018, I moved to Austin, and a couple of my coworkers and we all started like a semi-regular campaign. But I would say for the most part, my experience with D&D is like through podcasts.
Cool.
There's a bunch of podcasts that I listen to that have gone through like 100 or 200 episode campaigns. So I don't have a ton of experience playing, but I have secondhand experience from listening to it.
Oh yeah, the hardest part is like finding a group and then committing to it. So many groups fall apart, but so just like playing D&D or listening to D&D shows, and then it's very similar to like finding a clan or a group of people to play with on RuneScape. Like you got to find like the right group you vibe with. Because I used to play D&D. I had a bunch of friends when I was in school that we would all play D&D together, and we were friends. But when we played D&D, I just like I didn't enjoy it at all. And I was like, oh, maybe I just don't like D&D. But then I had someone else ask me, hey, do you want to play D&D with a different group? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll play it. I played with them, and I had a lot of fun. And it's like nothing wrong with what the first group was doing. I just wasn't vibing with, and I was friends with all of them. So hanging out with them and getting a beer or whatever it was a great time. But I just didn't vibe with playing D&D with them. And there's like nothing wrong with that. You just got to find your group that you vibe with. So you could find a group, a clan that you're not really feeling it. It's like nothing wrong with. You should probably leave and find another one, because eventually you'll find one. You're like, okay, everything's good. This is
for sure.
This is where I fit in.
For sure. I mean, there's people who leave and join our Discord all the time. No hard feelings to anybody. Listen, if you join TNL, you're there for a week and it's not your cup of tea, no hard feelings. Find your people that you vibe with. I'm sure you feel the same way. Like if people join your clan and they're not vibing, they're not having fun, by all means, please go find somewhere that you're going to have fun. It doesn't have to be TNL. And I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like we have the same vibe. Like if somebody's not vibing in the Wilderness clan, you probably wouldn't want them to hang out just for the sake of being there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like never personal. I would say like a good clan wouldn't take it personal if you just dipped, because you just got to find. I played a bunch of different other games, and so many times I join a clan and I'm just not vibing. And then but you're like, I'm gonna stay for a little bit because I feel guilty joining, and then on day 3 leaving, so I'll stay for a bit, and then day 3 happens, and you're just like,
still not feeling it.
Just not feeling it. So yeah.
Again, nothing personal. Seriously, nothing personal. There's so many different groups out there. If you want to find a clan, I haven't plugged this in a while, but if you go to the official RuneScape, old school RuneScape Discord, there is a section called Sellout, I think. People will actually post like clan or clan advertisements, is I guess what you call them. And there's different themes. So you'll have like a Skiller clan, you'll have like an Ironman clan. They'll post what they do, what they offer. So if you're looking for a place to hang out, go to the old school RuneScape Discord. I think literally the link is discord.gg/OSRS, I want to say. I can't be sure. I've said this before and I was wrong. So I don't know, just Google it. Old school RuneScape Discord. And again, just no hard feelings if you're not feeling it, you know? We won't ever be upset. And we would love to have you. Again, love to have you in TNL. Love to have you in the Wilderness Podcast. Clan, it's not for you. It's not for you.
Yeah, exactly. I used to play Destiny 1. You ever play that game?
I did for a long time.
Huge fan. Okay. Tell me, maybe, I'm curious to know if you went through the same thought process. Because I was just talking to someone when we were talking about Destiny 1. And then we realized we were both like the same person when we played Destiny 1.
Yeah.
So when I played Destiny 1, I was quite a bit younger. The game's a bit older, but I was like my early 20s-ish. But there was this one clan that I always wanted to join. And I was like, I'm going to join that one day. But there was one requirement that you had to have in order to join it. And it's a very kind of a big barrier of entry to join this clan. But I was like, one day I'm going to get there. And then I eventually got there. I can't find the clan because it's gone, and it makes me sad.
Oh, no.
But I was always like, it'd be cool if this clan existed in RuneScape. I'm not going to make it, but it'd be cool if it did. But the clan in Destiny was called the Dads of Destiny.
Oh.
And it was a clan all about people who played this video game, but you were a parent. You had a kid. So, like, the whole idea is, like, not strict like raid times. Everyone's super
my gosh.
flexible, and it was a place for
That's
like
awesome.
a more mature crowd to play. And I know you have a kid as well.
I do,
which
yeah.
I don't know if we want to get into it, but
yeah, for sure.
We spoke a bit before, and you really helped me figure out things with my kid. So
yeah, because we're kind of in the same boat. I think you said your kid's 8 months old. My
8
kid
months.
just turned a year old,
and
so that would be a really fun clan to actually be a part of in Runescape. I'm sure it exists.
I'm sure something exists
already.
There's a lot of dads that play, but the Dads of Destiny was a cool clan. They were popular, and then I had a kid play Destiny 2. That clan, I can't find that clan anywhere, so it doesn't exist. So it's kind of sad.
It doesn't exist.
But
yeah, no, like that's a whole episode, and it's on its own. Is like, how do you navigate like being a gamer and also being a parent?
Yeah.
You and I probably have gone through a lot of the same things with, I don't know, if you look at our resumes, mine and yours, as far as RuneScape is concerned, they're virtually identical, right? Podcast hosts, nearly maxed, has a kid, playing RuneScape, married, all this kind of stuff. So, probably have a lot of the same experiences, which if you look at the community as a whole, there's probably a lot of parents out there as well who are, trying to figure out how do I be a parent, still have a life of my own, and still, foster, nurture, care for another human being, trying to make them into a worthy person in society. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to get too deep, but I think that I've definitely had the struggling. I've definitely had the struggle of like wanting to play, but then also just having to balance life and games. Kind of talked about it a lot last episode with my wife, and just like figuring out how our relationship kind of works its way into life of a gamer. But I'm curious what your experience has been like the last 8-9 months.
Well, yeah, so he's 8 months. Things are really good right now. When I went in, so our kid was born 2 months early. He was born prematurely. So he had to spend about a month in the hospital. Everything was fine. But there's a few things we were supposed to get done, but we waited to the last minute.
Oh no.
Any expecting fathers out there, if you're planned on reading a book, read it a little bit earlier, because if you plan to read it for the final month, they might come out 2 months early, and then you're like, wow, all those prenatal courses I was gonna do, and then it's over. But the early stages of a newborn is like very, very tough, because they're so like on demand, like they're very like demanding, where it's like, even if they're sleeping, you got to wake them up after 4 hours to feed them. They'll probably wake you up, but if they don't, so like I had a hard time gaming, and just like even having my own personal time, because I would be playing. So I should say RuneScape is like the perfect dad game to play, I would say, because you can pick it up and you can drop it. There's a few times I was playing RuneScape and I had he was like maybe 2 or 3 months old. He's in this like swaddle, which is like this carrier that you can like, it like hugs them to your chest so you can walk around hands free. But he'd be sleeping. I could play RuneScape. If he woke up, it's really easy to drop what you're doing on RuneScape and whatever. But there's also content if you want to do something that's more intense, like, oh, he's sleeping for 2 hours, hopefully. I could probably send a raid if I wanted to. So RuneScape was really good for that. I used to play a game. Well, I do play a game called Escape from Tarkov. You ever played that game?
I've not played it. I've definitely heard of it though.
It's like it's a first-person shooter. Imagine it's a first-person shooter, but you're always stuck in the wilderness. So if you die, you lose all your gear. Kill anyone, you get all the gear. But that game is not dad-friendly, because it expects you to play it every single day. And if you can't make it for a couple days, a bunch of your gear is just like deleted. It's like,
what?
So basically, if you die, your gear gets recovered if nobody loots it. So let's say you get PK'd in the wilderness, you drop all your gear. If that PKer doesn't loot it because their inventory's full, after a day or two, it comes back into it goes back into your bank. But you need to actually accept it. If you don't accept it, you only have 24 hours to accept it. If you don't accept it, it's all gone. So I was trying to play Escape from Tarkov when he was just born, and I couldn't because I could not keep up the every day playing it, or I'd drop it for 3 days and I would lose a bunch of stuff.
Oh no.
So my point is, there's a lot of games that aren't newborn friendly.
But yeah, I found that like Destiny wouldn't be that way, because like, what if you're in the middle of a fire strike or whatever, and you're halfway through it, but then that baby starts crying.
Yeah.
I did find that RuneScape was pretty compatible with like the early stages of life.
Yeah, if you need to dip out of Guardians of the Rift, it's not a big deal, right?
You can. Yeah, you can. You can definitely do that. I feel like I may have had, and I'm knocking on wood here because he's still this way, but like my kid is a really good sleeper.
Nice.
Except for like the 6 to 9 month sleep regression stage, which I feel like you may be going through right now. But like clockwork, the kid goes to bed at 7 p.m., sleeps through the night, wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning, has a nap at 10, has a nap at 3, rinse and repeat. So it doesn't always sleep like a couple hours, but I know at least at 10 o'clock in the day and at 3 o'clock in the day, I'm going to have like an hour, maybe 2 hours where stuff can get done. Mm-hmm. And then right at 7 p.m., bedtime, 7 p.m. until I decide to go to bed is when either my wife and I hang out, we watch TV, play some video games, do chores around the house, that kind of stuff. And it's been like that pretty much his whole life.
That's good.
When he was a baby, though, the kid slept all the time.
Oh, really?
Like all the time. Yeah. Like a lot of the time that I had during paternity leave, especially the first 3 months, I would say, we would be like sitting in the living room. Mobile is great, by the way, for new parents.
Amazing.
Lifesaver, because I never wanted to really be at my PC playing any sort of RuneScape or video games, because that would either require me to have the baby here, or that would require my wife to have the baby separately. Like if we're both not in the room, then one of us is like full on responsibility. And I don't know if you felt this way, but like when my wife was like breastfeeding and going through the healing process, I wanted to do as much as I could to like alleviate time that she had to do more than what she was already doing. I know a lot of parents, a lot of fathers sometimes don't get that option, but I had a great like parental leave package through my work.
Awesome.
And so I got 4 months off. And so I took 2 months at the beginning and then went back to work for 2 months. And then I took another 2 months off. And so that was just a lot of time that I could be there for my wife. But whenever we were hanging out, it was generally in the living room, and he was just literally sleeping in his little rocking chair thing. We have like a mama-roo is what they call it.
Oh, I got one of those. Those things are sweet.
Yeah. And so it would just keep him going, keep him rocking all day long. Watched a lot of Survivor.
Nice.
Got 99 rune crafting. So
awesome. Life
was great back then.
Yeah, that's funny. Ours was not that good of a sleeper. Yeah, it was a little bit rough, but you and I had a conversation just on Discord one night. We were just hanging out, we were playing RuneScape, and you mentioned that your sleep routine, and you're telling me about it, and I went to my wife afterwards, and I was like, I was talking to Michael, or I probably called you Bloodhound, because she's
probably
everyone was like Bloodhound or whatever whatever the RuneScape name is. I never call anyone by their real name. Weird to me, but I was like telling her like, I think we should focus, because it was really hard to get him on a sleep schedule. We would try to put him down at a certain time, and he would just scream, and he would scream for hours and hours, and we'd pick him up, and it was really tough. It was really hard to get him to sleep, but we eventually, through a lot of trial and error, we were able to like get that sleep schedule going. And it was really hard at first.
It's difficult. So difficult.
It was really hard because we were kind of we were tailoring his sleep around kind of like whenever he just finished feeding or whenever he felt like it. But then when we spoke and you're saying, no, we put our kid on like a strict sleep schedule. He's napping at 10 a.m. He's second nap at 3 p.m. Goes to sleep at 7 p.m. And while we tried to do that, we weren't super strict with it, because if he wasn't sleeping, we're like, you know what? Fine, we'll let him sleep when he wants to sleep. But we spent like a week or two getting him on a good sleep schedule, and it was like really hard because it was a lot of like he's crying, let him cry for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to do that. But slowly it started to work. And now
nice.
He's on his strict sleep schedule, and it is
Love
like
it.
the best thing people say like, oh, having a kid's the best thing that ever happens to you. I would say getting the kid on a sleep schedule is the best thing that ever happened to me, because like we got our evenings back. We have, so I never took like paternity leave. I should have, because we have that in Canada, but it's based on like your wage, like 75% of what your income is. The job I was working at the time wasn't great. I wasn't getting paid too well, so 75% wouldn't have cut it for me. Gotcha. My wife went on the maternity leave. I did not. Very tough, so I would definitely recommend any new fathers out there. Definitely try to take like at least 2 weeks, because those first 2 weeks are going to be tough.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's getting them on a sleep schedule is so nice, because now I have my evenings. If I want to play RuneScape in the evening, I can do that, and it's like
you can record a podcast, you can edit a podcast.
Exactly.
Like, man, the sleep schedule. It was hard. It was definitely hard for us. I won't say it's all like sunshine and roses, because when a kid hits like 6 to 8 months, they go through this thing called sleep regression, where for no reason whatsoever, other than maybe they're just like their brain is just going. Sleep is very hard, and there was probably a 2 or 3 week period where my son, he didn't take a nap during the day at all, so he was up from like 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening, and maybe he would get like 30 minutes during the day.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I just had to look at my wife. We looked at each other like, why are we fighting this? Like, this is a normal thing. It's not going to happen. So those were hard. That was definitely a hard time. And it opens up some much needed, I think you mentioned it, like just much needed free time. I said this last week, but like the mantra for my wife and I for 2022 is like me time. Having things that you enjoy doing, having things that they enjoy doing, having things you enjoy doing together, having things you enjoy doing as a family. Like, just a big balancing act. And making video games a part of that is something that is a work in progress for me, at least for like the last year with having a kid. It's definitely tough. I'm kind of scared, not scared. I am interested what it's going to look like with 2 kids.
Are you planning for a second?
Yes and no. I mean, not right now, but it's definitely like in the cards for us in the future to have at least 2. Oliver's great. My son is great. He would probably be a great only child, but we definitely want to have siblings for him and have more children. I don't know if we'll go past 2. I don't know. It's a conversation. I'm fine with 2, and my wife is fine with 2. If we had another one, probably would adopt. So. Oh,
interesting.
Yeah. So I'm interested what it's going to look like if we do have a second kid, or when we have a second kid. Like we're going to have a toddler who doesn't sleep during the day, and then we'll have a little baby who is trying to sleep during the day. So it's parenting, man.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. I think I'd have to imagine the second one is going to be easier, even if they are not as good of a sleeper. That's what I'm thinking. For we also want to have a second kid. We picture 3. We'll see, one at a time. But the first one is hard because you just don't know. Like he would like cry all the time, all night, and then I remember we were just like thinking, so my wife is on maternity leave. I'm working from home, so I still have to work the next day. I can't really help her out any chance I can. I have to basically juggle helping her and helping raise our kid, and then also working my full-time job. Having a second one, knowing that like these things will end. Like it's only like 2 months that they're having to wake you up 4 or 5 times throughout the night to feed, or I can't remember how many months it was, but or you just start knowing that like, okay, around this time is when they start actually going to sleep on a schedule, knowing that all does. Because the first kid, you were just like, I remember just being like, oh my God, when is this ever going to end?
Bro,
Is this our life now? I'm so tired.
track with that so hard. Like when you're in it, it feels like it's forever. Like 2 weeks of sleep regression and figuring out having a schedule. Those 2 weeks feel like years.
Sleep deprivation is
that was only 2 weeks.
Yeah, sleep deprivation is like it's hard. I don't know. Tying this into RuneScape, this used to be a thing. It's not so much now, but with Twitch, a lot of streamers would do these like, I'm gonna stay up as long as I can and stream like 72 hours. Right? There's a whole guy. His name was Mr. No Sleep.
Oh my gosh, I love Mr. No Sleep.
His whole thing was like, I don't sleep, and it's like, even just like getting a couple hours, the next day I'm like, I'm done. It's just it's hard. Sleep deprivation is like, it takes a toll on your body, right? You don't think as smart. You're more irritable. Like there's so many times where like me and my wife will be like sleep deprived, and we're just like, you know what? We need to just like take a minute because we're both really tired. We're not going to be able to sort this problem out properly. Let's just take 5, get some fresh air. Let's talk about this tomorrow or whatever it is.
Let's figure this out another time. I think that's where like tandem naps come in. My wife and I did this. My wife's not a huge napper, but during the first couple months, she like took naps on occasion. But there would be times where like, okay, I'm gonna sleep for like 3 hours, and then once I wake up, you can sleep for 3 hours. And we kind of did that to regain a little bit of that mental clarity.
Smart.
If you don't have a partner, I can't imagine like single parents,
or like
my heart goes out.
If you have to take unpaid leave.
Yes, that too.
My God, I don't know how. I remember hearing stories where it's like, I only get 2 weeks off. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
have 2 weeks off.
That's America for you. Like we don't have. Not to get too political, but I think that's a major issue with this country is that there's not some sort of like mandated, hey, you need at least 8 weeks for everyone. Mom, dad, whoever. 8 weeks. Because that's, if you think about it, I took 4 months. 4 months was I think 4 months is the perfect amount of time for anybody. 8 weeks is great. 16 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever it was. I think it was 18 that I got. It was amazing. It's lacking in this country. I don't know. You said in Canada, everybody can get it, but it's only 75% of your total salary.
Yeah. So like if I wanted to go on paternity leave, I can get 75. There's a few different ways you can do it. You can take a year off and you'll get 75% of your salary.
Oh, wow.
Or you can take 18 months off, which is what, a year and a half. But you only get, I think it's 45% of your salary. So the end money is all the same. So it's whether it's a year or a year and a half, the money you're going to be getting is about the same. It's just one stretched out and it's less. But
wow.
Even that, like if you don't have that great of a job, 75% of your income might not be enough to not only pay for all your bills, but now you have this little guy you got to buy stuff for. So
here's a thought. And this was, I don't know, if I was in that situation, here's what I would do. So you take the 75, you get a whole year off, and then 2 or 3 nights a week, maybe, you just start a side hustle. You do like DoorDash or Uber or something to make up that other 25%, and then you get a whole freaking year. I can't imagine what I would do. Like, looking back on the last year from last July when my kid was born until now, if I hadn't had to work the whole entire time, that would have been incredible. That's actually insane. And I know that there are countries out there that have like 100% paid 1 year, and I'm just like, man, to live in those countries, holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like important. Like, we have this thing called, it's like bonding leave. It's only for it's like only for the dads, but it's basically like, so if let's say we have the 12 months off, me and my wife can decide. We both can't take 1 year off. We can take 1 year together. So we can both take 6 months off. She can take 6 months or I can take 6 months, but it all has to equal 1 year or 18 months, whatever we decide. But then on top of that, so on top of maternity leave, there's like the healing. You get 6 weeks where it's like not part of your maternity leave. It's 6 weeks of like, you got to heal. So that's separate. And then the dads get this thing called bonding, which is like 6 weeks to like say hi to your kid.
Hang out.
Yeah, look
Yeah,
at your kid.
hang out with
Hey, it's me. It's your dad over here. Remember me, kiddo? But you could take it all the way. You have 1 year to take it, but you could wait to like day 364 to take it, and then you take it further. I think that's how it works. I can't. Somebody walked me through it, but
yeah, that's cool. So you can like play the system in your favor, essentially.
Yeah. There's ways that kind of help, but then it's like kind of a deep topic because then it's like,
Sure.
you know, my wife got a new job. She lost her job because of COVID, so she was pregnant and had no job.
Oh no!
So she found a job, and then it's like she kind of had to hide. Not hide she was pregnant, but it's like, is someone gonna hire you if you're pregnant because they know you're gonna go on leave?
Exactly.
A good company.
Yeah.
Would probably you would like to think they wouldn't, but
yeah,
at the same time, if you're the CEO of that company and it's a small company, you gotta think anyways.
Yeah, for sure. My wife she went through the same thing. She got her job, she was like 7 months pregnant. Like in a perfect world, companies can't discriminate against you as a pregnant person, but there's still going to be people who do, and they claim it's something else. Like you just weren't a good, culture fit, but in reality, they're being pretty shady. But yeah, that's definitely a worry, dude.
It's I guess it's a little bit tough, but maybe quickly pivoting, but keeping on the dad topic, something that I've thought about, because video games go through these I guess it's trends. So like when we grew up, like RuneScape was like everyone played RuneScape. Did you have that with like your friends in school and stuff?
Yeah.
A lot of people did. You go to like the library and there'd be all these kids that you don't even know, and they're all playing RuneScape, and
dude, that was so cool to relive that.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then World of Warcraft came, and it kind of put a fork, and a lot of people moved on to World of Warcraft, and then kind of RuneScape was like this game that was like kind of for little kids. World of Warcraft, where we all pivoted. But kind of fast forwarding, Minecraft became the new RuneScape. Like all the kids played Minecraft. Yeah. And then Fortnite jumped in there, and now Fortnite's the cool game.
That's the one. Now it's Roblox, I think. Roblox is pretty popular with kids nowadays.
Interesting. Okay. What do you think, like for your son, he's going to grow up, he's going to know you're going to play RuneScape. Are you going to introduce him to the game? Do you think he's going to play it? And do you think he's going to be like, you know how like this classic rock, and it's like, that's
dad, I'm tracking with you.
Dad rock.
I'm tracking with you.
Do you think RuneScape will be that's like a dad game? That's like an old person's game.
I'm not going to push it. I mean, by the time I think he would understand the game, it's probably going to be like another 5 to 7 years, maybe even more. Like, I wouldn't expect a 5-year-old to understand this game and all the intricacies. Like, sure, we can make a woodcutting account. We can go mining, we can fish. But like, if I really wanted my child to enjoy this game and have a relationship with them and play it, like 10 years old probably is the age I'm looking to introduce. But there's definitely other games that I think would bode very well with like a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, whatever age I'm going to introduce video games to him. Like Minecraft. I love Minecraft. It's probably my second or third favorite game. And like kids love that game. It's very easy to understand.
It's a very creative game too.
Yes. Yeah. My niece plays and she is so creative. Like most kids her age, because she's like 8 or 9, most kids her age have like a creative world, and it's just full of things they've made.
That's cool.
Like she has scale replicas of like all these things, like Pokemon and things that you can just create because it's literally pixels that you're making. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't know if it's gonna be RuneScape, but it'll definitely be something. He'll likely have his own like gaming computer. Man, that reminds me, there's this guy on TikTok. Him and his son stream. It's really cool. But like they don't really, I don't know, I haven't checked out their stream, but like it doesn't seem to me like they interact much with the chat. But what they do is like they just sit and have conversations. And so like they've got the kid over here, the dad's over here, they're both streaming, and the kid's probably like 6, 7 years old. But it's just a cool dynamic to see, a father-son duo like building a world, playing together, and like I'm looking forward to those days with my kid.
Now, when you picture that, do you picture RuneScape or do you picture like Minecraft?
Probably Minecraft. Again, I go back and forth. I know I said that like I'm not going to do it, but you bring up a good point. It's like, why not?
It's also
you're making me think like, why not?
Well, the other question is like I really like RuneScape. It's a very special game, and I think it is one of the best MMOs. I mean, it's one of the most popular MMOs right now, which is surprising at first, but then it's a good game. There's a lot to do. But at the same time, I have like friends that know I play RuneScape, and I don't think I've ever been like, you should play it. I don't really recommend anyone to play it because it's I think most people are going to play it and they're going to be like, yeah, it's not my game. And I'm fully aware of that. But then also, when it comes to having a kid, would you have the worry of like, this game will devour your life?
Oh.
Like, you're going to skip school because you're playing RuneScape. No, maybe not. But I totally had a friend. When I was in school, 13 years old, I had a friend. His name was Sean. And I was like level 80 or 70, and he was like level 100 and something. So he was like, we were the same age, but I kind of looked up to him in RuneScape. With RuneScape goggles on because he had this cool account. But he would skip school all the time because he was like, just wanted to woodcut all day. He wanted 99 woodcutting, but he would skip all the time, and it became a problem where his mom and the school would get something happened. The school got involved, being like, yo, this kid never comes to school. And the mom's like, I don't know what happens because she'll leave for work. He's supposed to take the bus, and then he just doesn't because he stays home and plays RuneScape all day. So then it's like, I would not want that to happen.
Right. I think at that point, it's just going to be like establishing boundaries and establishing good gaming habits. Like having gone through that myself, having gaming be something I'm very passionate about, I would venture to call it an addiction, but I know that like an addiction is a very serious thing, and like for me, it's playing video games. It's a hobby. So I know that it can get to the point where, you're thinking about it all the time. You want to log in all the time. You want to play. And it's like having the wherewithal as a parent to guide and coach your young one to, hey, you know what? It's okay to not log in. It's okay to have other things that you enjoy. And I would encourage you to have other things that you enjoy. Video games are great. Video games are a great outlet. The one thing I want to avoid is like demonizing it or putting bad connotation. Because I grew up in an era where people were like, you're going to go blind from staring at that screen, and video games are a waste of your life.
Brain's going to turn to mush.
You're losing brain cells. But like people literally have careers around playing video games.
Oh, yeah.
You and I have podcasts where we talk about RuneScape. So it's like, it's not a worthless game. You know what I mean? Like, there's still going to be people who see it that way, but I definitely won't as a parent.
Yeah, and you kind of make a good point because it's like, if someone has like a RuneScape addiction, is it a RuneScape addiction? Or if RuneScape wasn't there, would something else just take its place?
That's kind of how I look at it too. Yeah. It's like if it wasn't RuneScape, it would probably be Minecraft. If it wasn't Minecraft, it would probably be Animal Crossing. If it, the list can go to the end of all time and be like, what? At the end of the day, what is it? You know what I mean?
And it can, like, going back to that Sean guy, he got into drugs eventually, right? So it's like a bit of an addictive personality. And then I had another friend, his name was Ryan, didn't really play RuneScape too much, but he played World of Warcraft, and he was addicted. His bedroom he had a bathroom attached to it. But that bathroom was still too far. So he had to use bottles. So here I go over to his house, and here he has three piss bottles next to his computer. I'm like, bro, it's like 2 steps away. What happened,
bro?
You know what? I had to do some raids. So
that's insane.
It's pretty gnarly. But he eventually quit, and then he got super addicted to working out. It's all he does. All he does is work out, and he's super jacked. So it's like, I think some people are just wired with a bit of an addictive personality as well. So maybe, as you mentioned, maybe it's not the game. Maybe it's just having healthy habits. Because if RuneScape's not there, maybe it would be like collecting stamps or something. I don't know.
Again, it's just like being there for them as a parent, you know, helping them figure out a healthy work life, game life, hobby life balance at the end of the day. And that's just being mindful as the adult in the relationship to say, hey, you know what? I am not a perfect human. I'm not the perfect parent, but I've been through some stuff, and here's what I can offer you as advice. Take it or leave it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's just advice. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their life.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, I don't want to come across that way. It's just a balance, man.
Yeah, the balance. Okay, now I have a question as well. I got two-part question. So, I guess you have the one kid. I guess we can just focus on the one now. Is there an age you're very excited for that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, I think honestly, like him at 1 year, my kid right now is amazing. He's going through, you know, so much development, but like he doesn't have the verbal component, so it's just a lot of yelling at this point. And if something is not going his way, tantrum.
Okay.
So I'm actually excited for like the next 6 to 8 months when he starts to learn how to talk.
Okay, cool.
And because we've gone through the mobile phase, like he's up and walking now.
Oh, awesome.
He's on his own. And he's walking around just screaming. So but I think if not for like, you know, 18 months, 24 months, I'm actually excited for whenever I can just like throw the baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play outside, go throw a baseball. If you scrape your knee, you know, it's not the end of the world. Babies are kind of fragile at this time in their life, especially especially 3 months, but even at a year old, he's still kind of vulnerable. Not 2 days ago, the kid just tripped and like bit his lip almost through. So like he has a big sore on his lip right now, but he literally just tripped over his foot and like landed on the tile. So it's things like that I'm like, once we get out of this stage of, you know, you're not falling over yourself all the time, and you know, you're not getting into the pantry if we end up leaving the door open, life will just be a little bit less stressful. But I don't want to be naive and think that like the grass is greener on the other side either, because I know it's not. Every stage in a child's life and development is going to come with challenges, and it's going to come with things that you've never dealt with before. And I like to be mindful of those kinds of things.
Totally.
What about you?
I'm still like learning at what age do they do this. But when I was a kid, it's probably like 5 years old. We'll go with 5. But when I was like young, my dad used to play the NES a lot, NES console, and he played a game called it was Super Contra, or it was Contra. The game is called Super C, which is like the second. You ever played Contra?
I haven't. No.
Okay, well, it's like this shooting game for NES. It's really, really hard. It's those NES games are really hard. They're brutal. I went back. I played some on my phone. Got an emulator. They are hard.
Oh, cool.
But I used to sit and watch my dad play these games all the time. And I loved to watch him. I'm really looking forward to like when my kid's old enough that he's like, I want to sit down and watch you play these games, or like,
oh yeah,
you know, okay, mommy's not here. Let's go play some of those. Like, let's go play Call of Duty or one of those games that she's not going to want you watching. So
right.
I'm kind of excited for like that stage where he gets excited to just watch me play a game.
That's fun. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then where I'm getting the age that I'm a little bit worried about is like first steps into high school. Because there's so many social problems that happen there, and it's going, and especially now with phones and all this stuff, like with social media. Part of me is like, I don't know if I'm gonna have an answer on how to deal with like some of these social things. But
literally, dude, like from the time that we were kids and our parents were trying to figure it out to now, it's a completely different game. You know, it's an ever evolving culture. It's an ever evolving world that at this point right now, I could game plan and try and figure out what I want to do and how I'm going to handle a situation when he turns 13, 14, 15, whatever. But at that point, it's already expired. Your plan is out of date, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just going to take some time. I really do. It's like, I can't think about how I want to raise a teenager until we get a little bit closer. Like,
Yeah, I guess
10 or 11 years old. And it's like, oh gosh, now we can figure this out because got a good handle on what culture's like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I guess, it's like one of those cross those bridges when you get there.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to look at it, honestly. Cross the bridge when you get there. And that's like probably, and you said it best. You're like, what is the thing we're learning at this stage? What is the thing we're trying to learn now? Going back to what I said earlier, it's like every stage in their development is going to be different. It's going to come with challenges, and just navigating that while also trying to figure out who you are, what you like to do. Can you still be a gamer? It's just a delicate balance.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that is a good time to wrap up this portion. What do you think?
Oh, yep, that sounds great.
All right, man. Well, XP wasters and wilderness listeners, if you stick around after the break, we'll have some more content for you. But we will see you guys after this.
So, you're out of work, and you're looking for a career that'll bring purpose, meaning, and value to your life. Well, look no further. We have the opportunity for you. Here at the Grand Exchange, the customer comes first. One of our regulars always shows up wearing what I assume is like 1,000-year-old armor. Andy has one of those abyssal demons following him around, so I'm pretty certain he just owns this place. Here at the Grand Exchange, you'll find working conditions that are second to none, with employee comfort being one of our highest priorities.
Who thought it was a good idea to give our uniforms long sleeves? It's the middle of July, there's no roof on this place. I'm sweating my balls off out here.
Here at the Grand Exchange, we strive to make each and every day worthwhile for our valued staff.
Kids these days have no respect. I've been working here for 54 years, and I've never once heard a thank you from any one of these adventurers.
Here at the Grand Exchange, we pride ourselves on our calm and comfortable working environment.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I couldn't hear you. There's too many people screaming. They shout the same things all day long. It's like they're robots or something. Is nobody going to do anything about this?
Here at the Grand Exchange, employee health and well-being are among our top priorities.
Oh my god, she wanted all of it. She wanted all 600 million gold pieces. Do you know how much that weighs? I can't feel my legs.
So come on down to the Grand Exchange and submit your application to become one of Gillinor's happiest and healthiest employees. We look forward to serving you while you serve Gillinor, here at the Grand Exchange.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break because I know that I sure did. It's part of the show now where we give a shout out to our patrons, starting with the Wise Old Man tier. Thank you so much to Escape Caution, Elagio, Ballimer, Basket, Benjamin R., Pork Jerry, Bloodman, aka Young Kyle, Hadad Bod, C. Gladney, Morty, Cream Tam, Duke Bradley, D. Falconer, Flying Castiel, Forestry, Fortimus, Francine 1225, M.B. Jones, Jack M., Jake W., Jerry, Jordy, Potato Pancake, Posh Padre, Magmorpheus, Mima, 999999, Not a Hippo, Obsidian Paladin, Okami Dashami, Ice, Hualo, Russa Fury, Salted Snake, Soggy Waffles, Shadow, Skalaxin, Skoldveg, Solaire, Sweet and Tangy, The Chungaroo, Troll, Tyler H., and Zach without a K. Thank you so much to everybody in the Wise Old Man tier. We appreciate you so much. So much. Now to give a lovely shout out to our KBD tier folks, starting out with Oxie's dad, my dad, Dilz's dad, everyone's dad, GIM Stones, Kroll, the Lord Jake himself, our third favorite Patreon supporter, Ralph, Spartan Fire, and Toast No Toast. Again, thank you so much to everyone who supports us on Patreon. We couldn't be able to do the fun things that we do without you guys. If you would like to support us on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/xpwaste. We have many tiers available, starting all the way from $1 and up. If you subscribe at the $5 tier, you'll get an extra episode every single month. It's quite fun. Lots of cool stuff in there. This last episode we did for June was a lot of fun, and I think you should check it out if you subscribe at the $5 tier. We have a little fun little challenge going on. If we hit a total of 150 patrons, Oxie is set to fly to Texas, where I live. We will get matching, or maybe not matching, but definitely Xpwaste themed tattoos. And we will definitely do a show together in person, live, probably in this office that I'm standing in for the first time ever. And I'll actually get to meet Oxie in person for the first time ever. So it'll be a lot of fun. I think you guys will enjoy it. We may get to do more than one episode. I don't know. But that'll just be if we hit our goal of 150 patrons. There's no time limit set. So if we hit it next year, we hit it next year. So I think we're over halfway there at this point. So if you guys want to join $1 tier, $5 tier, all the way up, whatever, patreon.com/xpwaste. That's enough for the self-promo. Dilz is actually going to take over now for the community question. Take it away, Dilz.
Thank you very much, Michael. So the question last week, I'm saying it as if I was here. What is your biggest pet peeve in old school RuneScape? That was the question, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your biggest pet? Can I ask you what your biggest pet peeve is? Am
You
I
absolutely
derailing this
can.
entire segment already?
No, dude, it's good. My biggest pet peeve is that, and we kind of already talked about it. It's just like there's no clear progression in the early game. You know, you kind of have to figure it out on your own, or you have to join a clan, you have to join a community. I can't think of anything else actually.
Very cool. Okay, well, let's hear what other people's pet peeves are.
I'm eagerly waiting.
Starting with Vince. He says people who decide to look down on other people they aren't playing efficiently. It's like everyone has to be playing in the most sweaty and arthritis-inducing way, or you're not OSRS enough for the game. I agree.
Actually kind of relate to that too. Like, not to say that I despise the high-level efficient community, but it's not my style. So, you know.
One thing that's kind of made me a little bit more hopeful, I don't know, or happy, is it seems like we're kind of stepping away from that mindset. Like years ago, it was all about like no XP waste wasn't a meme. It was like serious stuff. And like anytime a new way of introducing a new skilling method that was like AFK, or if it had better experience rates, people were like, whoa, what are we doing here? But it seems like we're now more accepting, where we're like, why does runecrafting have to be so boring to train? And then we Guardians of the Rift. So it seems like we're slowly moving away from it. But anyways,
love it.
Agreed. Lord Maticus says the daily gender argument at the GE in World 420. STFU.
Really? Is that a thing?
I have no idea. I don't hang out in World 420 enough, it seems, but I'm almost afraid to ask for more context.
Yeah,
maybe
just leave it at that.
You know what? I think we should take this as a let's stay out of the GE in World 420. Jacob M says that there isn't a loot all option when you kill something with multiple drops.
That is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know if I would want that.
Wait, why? Like,
it's convenient. No, it is convenient.
Just one button that says loot all, but you can still pick it up individually.
Yeah. That is nice.
Know, it's convenience. Like, if you're going to pick up every single drop at Hydra, it's going to drop you like battle staves, 2 sets of bones, and coins or whatever. There's like 6 things on the ground. Instead of spam clicking, you just like loot all, or you can only pick up the battle staves if you want to leave the bones on the ground.
It would be really nice on mobile too.
Yes.
We don't have the text on the ground right now, so that'd be very nice.
Along with this, I kind of wish that there was an auto loot system where it would literally just pick it all up for you, and then you could decide whether or not you want to drop it.
I'm surprised we don't have more items that allow you to do that. We have the Ring of Wealth, which picks up gold for you, like GP.
That's funny. I take the Ring of Wealth with me when I do a Gargoyles task because screw efficiency, and like I would much rather just auto pick up the GP because it's like 500-600K just in coins.
Fair enough. Sorry if I'm derailing this. Can I ask a quick question? Because I'm curious.
Of course you can. Yeah.
Because you sound similar to me. Is there anything you do in the game that has you stop and be like, man, I'm way too cheap in this game?
Yes.
Like for me, I pick up all my pure essence that are noted.
Okay.
And you know, it's worth like 1 gold each, but I'll pick up like 50 off the ground. I pick up like any stackable item. And I'm like,
same.
I don't need to keep doing this.
Well, it's a collection at that point, you know? Like if I have 100,000 pure essence, who's it bother? No one.
Yeah.
Yes,
true.
I do that exact thing. Mine is that instead of taking a super combat potion, I'll take the individual attack, strength, and defense.
No. Yes, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Or you bring like the holy wrench when you have like 3 prayer potions with you, just for like
the holy wrench. Yep.
Yeah, just for an extra like 8 doses or 8 prayer points. All right, that was from Spotify. Now we'll pivot over to YouTube. We got a few from YouTube. I say we like I'm just like a regular part of the show. So 10,000 Slugs says, biggest pet peeve for me is the fact you can't link multiple characters to one single account, and not having the ability to just have your accounts on one account makes it difficult to want to make an Ironman character. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Would be nice. They're coming out with this Jagex launcher that they're trying to like incorporate old school RuneScape and probably RuneLite at some point, but then RuneScape 3. Did you hear they're working on like a 3rd game?
I did.
Yeah. So I bet you that's going to show up there.
Very interesting.
Be cool if we can get all of our characters there.
Well, you said earlier you have like 5 or 6 accounts that you're paying membership for. It would be super nice if you could just like have one membership. Maybe it's a little bit more money, right? But like you have one $15 a month, whatever, 20 a month, and then you can have up to 5 accounts on it, or 10 accounts, or something.
Amazing.
It's pretty sick.
Next up, we have from Fergs Durger. I love that name.
Nice.
My biggest RuneScape pet peeve is when you're actively doing something, you go to the skills tab and open a skills guide, and it stops what you're doing. Walking, how about you take a seat over here? Cooking, those lobsters like being raw. And speaking of raw, it rubs me raw. Let me multitask, dang it.
Yes.
Fergs Durger. 100% behind you there.
I didn't know that I needed something so much until after I heard this comment.
There's so many things you go to open up, and it's like, you can't do that because you got to finish your activity you're doing. And it's like, well, why?
Why don't we finish what we're doing before we do this? I'm like, come on. I know this game is 20 years old, but like, can we not?
I'm just trying to log out or something like silly. You're trying to like teleport. Ugh, anyways. Frito Lay 17 says, biggest pet peeve, the fact that tick manipulation, especially for prayer, has become the meta. Seems cheaty to me. I agree. I've been sending a few attempts at the Inferno, and you have to think in ticks, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't know if that's so much more. I don't know if that's tick manipulation versus like tick mechanics, because tick manipulation is like stalling, you know, using like the pestle and mortar.
Yeah.
But like tick mechanics, I think that's different. In the Inferno, I know. It's like they built in these mechanics so that you have to do things on a certain cycle. But I don't know exactly what he means.
Well, for like, he mentions prayer use, so I imagine like prayer flicking, which is something you kind of have to do for the Inferno. And it's just like, I don't like how that's how you have to think, and you have to think in ticks. Like, oh, this guy's going to attack me in 4 ticks. It starts breaking the immersion a little bit for me. And I think I'm too dumb to wrap my head around it, so I just get frustrated.
Smooth brain.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree there. We have Skillaxin, and he says, my biggest pet peeve is elitism in RuneScape. Too many people bring others down because they have different journeys in their accounts, and many of those will let you know this when you never even asked. I was in a clan before TNL, and everyone seemed to have something to prove to each other, and the requirements to be in there were super high. I love that TNL accepts and motivates everyone regardless of where they are in their adventure. Also agreed. This game is like a sandbox game. The whole beauty of it is like nobody's got the same journey, and you can do it. Right. You can do it in everything like 20 different ways. But then you talk to someone that was like, no, there's one way to do it.
Yeah. That goes back to my pet peeves too. So,
thank you, Skalaxon. That was all of the biggest pet peeves on YouTube.
Alrighty. So thank you everyone who answered the community question from last week. This week's question is, if you could make a Snowflake account, like Swampletics, Tile Locked, what have it, what account build would you make and why? So you can find that question in the community question section on Spotify or on the pinned comment on the YouTube video for this video. It is time now for the levels and achievements. I didn't hear anything back from Oxie about last week, so apparently I did well. This section is kind of, it's along the lines of, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to make Oxie proud here, but starting out with, these will be the capes of accomplishment. We've got Bar Down Frost with a double quest cape with his boy Slappy. So it looks like got a tandem quest cape completion with the friend. That is awesome.
That's pretty cool. I wonder what the final quest was.
Yeah, they didn't actually say. Most of the time it's like Night of the Theater. So that would be actually really cool if like both of their quests were Night at the Theater and they did a duo to complete it. Ooh, that's gonna be fun to do on the group Ironman.
I wonder if when a new quest come out, if they both have to wait to do it together to continuously.
Now they're like
them.
stuck together forever.
Yeah, it's rough. One of them quit.
Oh.
It's game over.
Looks like Captain Clunk got a fire cape. So much shaking, but a day well spent. Heck yeah. Let's see. It took 2 hours and 26 minutes. But a 2 hour and 26 minute fire cape is still a fire cape. Hell yeah.
I did the fire cape on my pure, like my one defense pure a while, and I thought it was going to be easy. I've done it multiple times on my main account. My pure had best in slot everything. Had like 90 range, T-bow, like the best in slot everything.
Yeah.
And I got my ass kicked over and over and over. It's hard. I forgot how hard it is. Oh, man. Anyways.
Yeah, I tried to do it on my group Ironman last year, back in November. I got to wave like 50 something, 53. I don't remember, but just kind of tanked because I ran out of food.
Yeah, those Rangers, they hit hard.
Yeah. I'm going to try it again once I get some better gear, but it's on the to-do list as well as getting Barrow's gloves and stuff. So
nice.
So that's going to do it for the Capes of Accomplishment. Moving on to the, I want to say PVM. No, 99s. No. Okay. So we're going to do this. We're going to go with 99s. And it looks like our boy Bowminator got 99 range wearing a dark bow on a cow. That classic. If you don't get a 99 in the cow fields and Lumbridge, did you even get a 99? That's my question.
That's a good call.
We got our boy Shadow Blade with 99 agility. So I feel like Shadow has been training agility for the last 10 years. So I think his words were, I can finally play the game.
Free.
Yeah. This isn't really a cape of accomplishment more than it's like a monkey of accomplishment. Our boy Iron Hyla got 2,000 laps at the Apatoll agility course.
Nice.
Unlocked the princely monkey. With Dilz's motivation, I am now on that grind. So I hit 123 laps today. So
oh wow, Michael, you're right behind him.
We're getting there. We've got Forventini again this week with 99 strength. Heck yeah. In the screenshot, they're wearing a dragon scimitar with dragon skirt.
Nice.
So I'm wondering if they're not an Ironman. So I'm wondering if they used the dragon scimitar the entire time. I don't know.
Going back to basics.
Yeah. Last but not least, we have our PVM achievements. We had 2 people get Barrow's gloves this week. Shout out to Skoldveg, I don't know, for a 69 combat. Nice. Barrow's glove completion. Kind of jealous because that's the grind that I'm on right now. And we have Ferg Durgerson.
Yeah.
Shout out to you again for the name drop there. Also completed the Recipe for Disaster quest and got Barrow's gloves. Looks like we got Mr. Darkside with a perfect Zulrah combat task achievement.
Okay.
I don't know what tier that's in, but he said it was much easier than he thought it would be. Let's see. Last but not least, we've got 2 people on the Barrow's Gloves grind. Lex completed Desert Treasure and the Legends Quest, and will probably have a screenshot for their Barrow's Gloves next week. And we have cookies for the Legends Quest achievement. So if you would like to post in the levels and achievements section on our Discord, you may get shouted out in a future episode. Hopefully Oxie will be back soon so that I can stop scuffing up this section. It's not my forte. And I'm hoping one day Oxie will call me and give me some feedback saying, Michael, I'm coming back to America. You suck at doing the levels and achievements. Shoutouts. All right. So now it is time for the fun question section, the moment you've all been waiting for. This one actually comes in from Astro Nebula on YouTube. It's a YouTube comment. If you guys want to post a fun question, feel free to post it on YouTube. Give us an email. Do whatever you want. Actually, please send us a postcard. I haven't gotten a postcard in a while. And they're actually right there in the back. I'll put it on the wall. Fun stuff. And if you have a fun question on the postcard, instantly read it on the podcast. So the fun question is, if you could design a new weapon for RuneScape, what would you do? Personally, I would add a staff spear so it would use magic and melee. 1 in 3 chance of using magic, which makes protecting in PvP a bit more interesting. So if you can add a new design, if you could design a new weapon for RuneScape, what would you do? Dilz, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Oh wow, what a good question. If you got something, you can dive in.
I have nothing. So
okay. So here's the first thing that pops into my head. Which, by the way, I like that first pitch where it goes between melee and magic.
Dude, yes.
Back in the bounty hunter days, kind of over now, but they had the blessed Sarah sword, which is like the golden Sarah sword.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously the sword attacks with melee, but the special attack is magic-based damage. So it was always so much fun to be fighting someone, and they're wearing full melee, and they have no idea when you're about to just whack them. You're about to whack them with like a big hit of magic damage.
Interesting.
And they could never see it coming because you don't have to switch weapons. So I like that idea. So anyways, the first idea that popped into my head was it's a staff. I'm not going to worry about balancing it. It's going to be broken. This is going to be busted on release. Jagex is going to hot fix it.
Okay.
But it's a staff that does damage like it's like a trident or the saying staff, where it's a charged staff, but it has a special attack. And the special attack allows you to shoot someone on your team, like shoot another person, and it heals them.
Oh.
Yeah, and it heals them. I was going to say it damages them for like 20 damage, but then over like 5-10 seconds, they heal 50 damage. But then there's too much griefing that could go on there. But
that's very true.
I wish we had more ways of healing each other. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Initially, when you said that, I was thinking you're going to shoot your opponent and it's going to heal them, but it's going to ricochet off of them to the next closest target and damage them.
Ooh.
Like if you're at Corp
cool
and you were trying to like kill Corp, you would send a blast at your friend, it would heal them, and then it would damage Corp or something. Yeah. I don't know. But it would have to be, would it be a spell? Like you cast a spell? Like how the Trident works with like a charges or something?
Like
or
you
would
could
it be a chance to heal them and like a 1% chance it insta kills them? Would you still use that though?
If you're, I guess, in a bind.
Oh man, 99% chance it works. That 1% chance it's gonna insta kill them.
In D&D, there's the sorcerer class, and there's a way you can trigger this effect where you have to roll a D100, so 1 out of 100, and then whatever it lands on, something happens. There's a huge chart, and it can be anything from like you go bald to like you can you age by 10 years or you de-age by 10 years. Most of them are good, like they'll heal you or it protects you from dying for 10 minutes. But one of them, it's a very small chance, like 1% chance, where you instantly die and you explode and kill everyone around. Not kill everyone, but
oh my god,
do a lot of damage to people around you. Anyways, my point is, I take that chance all the time.
Yeah.
I'm rolling on that D100 chart. I might die, but I probably won't.
So every time you roll it, you're like, I'm taking the chance.
We're taking the chance.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I guess that means it's my turn. So I'm really bad. I'm just terrible at coming up with like weapons for games because my brain thinks about swords, shields, staffs, like your basic things. So I'm just gonna build off of what we already have in the game, and this is a new tier of dragon weapon. It is a dragon flail.
Oh,
So you know how like it's a two-handed weapon, so you can't wear a shield with it. But it will do. I guess it would be a little bit faster than a battle axe, but a little bit slower than a scimitar. I think is how I want to balance the speed. This is terrible. Balance the speed. Do dragon weapons have special attacks, right? But like nobody uses them. I mean, there are some. DDS is great. The whoosh, whoosh, swipe,
DS
swipe,
good.
but like
D-claws.
D-claws. Oh, I forgot about the D-claws.
Dragon Warhammers, that's pretty...
Okay.
Yeah,
So the spec on... Okay, the spec on this is going to be 50-50 on a 50% chance you hit your max hit or a 50% chance you damage yourself. Going back to kind of what you said, I think it would be interesting to have a little bit of risk and reward. Like a 50-50, you're either going to hit him for like a 45 or you're going to damage yourself a 45. Can you take that? I think that would be really interesting. Like you hit yourself for a max hit or you hit them for a max hit. 50-50 chance. Or should it be lower? Should it be a lower chance that you hit yourself? 50-50 seems a little punishing.
The worst part is like that would be like, well, it's your fault for chancing it then. But if you killed yourself with it, you'd be like pretty upset.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like it's a two-handed weapon. There's little balls on a chain, so like you're liable to hit yourself with it, and it's only a dragon tier weapon, so it may not even be that strong. Like, what's your max hit with max melee with a scimitar? Do you know?
I don't.
I have the thing. I have the dummy in my house. I probably could go check. I don't have Torva though. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that I couldn't come up with something better.
Flail's good. We have two flails, really. They call them chain maces. Well,
Varric's flail.
Yeah,
and then what was the other one?
And Vigora's chain mace. Is that the same thing? I think it's kind of the same. Yeah.
I kind of think the Vigora's chain mace looks like a Inquisitor's mace with just like a handle on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder if Vigora and whoever the Inquisitors were are tied in lore.
Interesting.
Well, thank you so much, Nebula, Astro Nebula, more so, for the fun question. Appreciate that. If you guys, again, if you want to send us a fun question, you can send us an email, send us a postcard. The PO box is in the description, but I'll read it off for you right now. Send it to Xpwaste Podcast at PO Box 634, Haslet, Texas 76052, and I'll put it on the wall behind me. It'll be a lot of fun.
Cool.
All right, Dilz, I think that is the end of the episode, sir.
Oh,
Did you have anything you would like to plug?
I mean, not really. Like I think I mentioned it earlier, but if you want to ever feel like another RuneScape podcast, this is the Wilderness Podcast.
Do you guys have a bingo coming up?
We do have a bingo coming up. Everyone's welcome to join. It's starting at the beginning of August, and it's
perfect.
I gotta try. I'm moving during that date, so I'm trying to like figure out a way to do it on mobile.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna be fun, but yeah, bingo's a fun time.
Yeah,
RuneScapers and like senior citizens share that in common. They love bingo, stamping that bingo card.
I didn't know where you're going with that, but I got there in the end. I think we'll have the link to your Discord in the description for this episode.
Oh, cool.
And if you guys want to join that bingo, head over to the Wilderness Podcast's Discord. Sure, you got all of the rules, all the sign up stuff there. If you want to check out Xpwaste, we have everything you would need in the description. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/xpwaste. We have a merch shop, xpwaste.shop, if you want to buy yourself a shirt like I'm wearing here. Pro tip though, if you get the minimalist shirt like I did, don't put it in the dryer because a lot of the wording came off there. So I just have like a really vintage looking shirt.
Super minimalist now.
Yeah, super minimalist. It's like almost not there. Follow me on Twitch. It's down in the description. I've been streaming at least once, maybe twice a week if I'm into it that week. You can follow. I was gonna say follow Dilz, but like, do you have any social media that you want to plug? You got Twitter?
You can do my Twitch. I do it occasionally.
Yeah. You can follow Dilz on Twitch.
Twitch.tv/the Dilz. I do it on occasion.
Okay.
We might catch me doing some Inferno streams. And I got
Ooh.
I bought a little heart monitor
No way.
so that when I do get to Zuck, if I do, you want
That's
to like,
awesome.
spike up and be like, Jesus,
That's
this guy's
awesome.
really unhealthy.
That is so cool. Dude, yeah, check out it's OSRS Dilz, you said?
The Dilz.
The Dilz. Okay, twitch.tv/the Dilz. All right, folks, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much to everyone for getting this far in the episode, and we will see you guys next Thursday. Bye.
Toodles.